forget about identity, forget about like all those like what do you call it, formalities.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever
Social
thought about
construct.
someone being attracted to you for the feminine aspects of you?
Surprisingly, yes. Especially
Oh,
somebody
yeah?
who like does drag and is out there in that kind of like in the very queer community. And I mean, I dress feminine sometimes. I don't care about how I pass the society because I don't find that, you know, I don't give a shit.
Because honestly, that has been my weirdest, like waking up. Like,
I don't think
what
I've
the
ever
fuck
had
is this
it.
body?
I've never
this
had
new body?
it to that extent. I don't think, but
Yeah.
I definitely, especially in drag, I've definitely had people attracted to the female aspects of me solely, like, or the feminine aspects of me.
Yeah, and like I think honestly, like that's the weirdest thing about transitioning is that you. It's,
Well, that's also
it's
you.
For me in perspective, but it's interesting to get your perspective. Is that you sort of? I did have a moment where I like was in bed with James and I was looking at my hands and I'm like, oh my god, I don't recognize myself.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And
well, just because it is, even though it is gradual, it is quite sudden.
But
in the grand scheme of things.
But here's the thing, though, is that do you ever feel like we have been raised to be ashamed of the feminine aspects of ourselves?
Yeah, 100%.
Because 100%. We were biologically
also,
born
just
a male.
Society
biologically born.
Is so masculine or feminine centric depending on your gender assigned at birth.
Yeah.
It's so forced upon us in magazines, culture, everything. It just there's no real. I mean, the whole idea of metrosexuality even is a newer concept, even though it like kind of originated in the 90s, or earlier. It's still not. It's still not regarded as the norm in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly, and like that's the weirdest thing about all of this too is that a part of me has sort of hated the feminine aspects of myself growing up because of how we were raised.
Especially in a sexual, romantic, any kind of that setting, it's like you don't want that to come out.
Exactly.
Even if you let it, it's just a part of your mind.
We're told that that's unsexy.
Yeah, exactly.
We're told that that's unattractive.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the
When
irony,
I'm hitting on a guy, let's say, my voice will be here. But if I'm talking with my friends, like in the village, like, oh my god, like, ha ha ha, like, it's that little change, like.
And but the irony is that but then we are conditioned to be attracted to a certain kind of man.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of those fucking things.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's weird because for me it's been this process of accepting the feminine aspect of myself, but also accepting that I'm attracted to masculinity.
And your own personal, I guess, not even prejudice, just your own personal preference.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a prejudice, but that is kind of just something that we've been conditioned through society to believe.
Something I've been thinking about is am I really attracted to masculinity, or am I just attracted to things that are clear cut? Like things that are
archetype of what is.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. An archetype of an idea
of what you're supposed to be attracted to,
of something on the gender spectrum.
And also, you spent a lot of time in the gay community and all of that. And I'm sure that was also not only honed into you as a child, but also honed into you as you grew up in that kind of world.
I'll be honest, it's really weird to sort of look at queer culture from a massively different perspective.
For sure.
Because
you have a complete perspective shift at this point.
Yeah, because even forget about non-binary for a second. It's just like
as a trans person.
Oh no, I meant like post-human or thinking about post-humanism.
For sure.
Is that like not needing to have an identity, just like not needing to have an identity.
Idea in society.
Like it just doesn't matter whether or not like if you fuck a tree, it doesn't. Yeah, if you fuck a tree, it doesn't mean that you're into blah blah blah.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that's the only thing you'll ever do, and that is the be all and end all.
And that is you are defined by your actions and your behavior.
I think that's a large part of the whole term non-binary. It's just because why is everything so absolute?
Absolutely binary.
There's no absolute. Yeah. I mean, I think one of the first times we hung out, I talked to you about my whole idea of what was it, relating gender to points on a line and how a line never ends, and how so any point you put on a line is a manually constructed point on that line when you go into like math and science and all of that. So hereby, if you put points in that of a spectrum, there is always more or less. Therefore, there is no end. There's no male or female.
Oh yeah.
You know.
And you know what it is? I also had this epiphany the other day as well. Is why do people not make a distinction between a sexual behavior and sexual identity? Sure. Like, why don't people make that distinction?
Yeah, it could be like
just because a biological male that identifies as a biological male or identifies as a male, and then has sex with men, why do they have to be identified as gay? I just don't.
The example of that all the time is when
society
people are curious and they experiment, and then they go on to live their lives with somebody of the opposite gender or the same gender, or whatever that
why
case
does it
may
matter?
be. It
Exactly.
doesn't matter. It shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but it's just so funny to me that
I think it's healthier if you figure it out on your own and you go through the process rather than being eternally struggled. You have an internal struggle your entire life and
be
unhappy
boxed and being put into a box.
For sure.
You know, I was just thinking, like, seriously, I was looking at all these new, like, you know, these Instagram posts, these Tumblr posts and stuff like that. I was looking at them and I was thinking to myself, like, a lot of these Tumblr posts just make jokes about how the gay agenda is just called being gay. Like, but that actually fucks with your head if you think about it.
For sure.
When you are
for
expected.
Society as a whole,
yeah. Is that like if you come out as gay, then you think yourself, oh, I have to live up to the expectation. Live up to the expectation.
How you
what
groom
it means,
yourself, how much you work out.
What does it mean to be gay in the 21st century? So I was just like thinking about this. I'm like, that I was sold a lie. I almost sort of feel like I was sold a lie growing up.
Well,
is that I had to come out as a gay person.
Yeah.
I had to identify as a gay boy.
Well, that's why I never finished coming out. I came out to maybe 5
it's
people,
unnecessary.
and then I realized that the whole
why does
concept
it
is
fucking
antiquated.
matter?
I told my parents that today.
Exactly.
The whole concept is antiquated.
Why does it
come out as
fucking
straight? It's
exactly?
bullshit, yeah.
And you know, as long as I'm like,
do what you do. Just
like,
be yourself.
Like even these like little passive jokes on Tumblr about being gay and how fun it is. Rainbow.
I literally just said, be yourself. Oh my god.
But I'm amazed that if you think about it, being gay marketed as a rainbow.
Yeah.
Like
why?
Like delusions young people into thinking. Well,
think
like,
about all the
I
poor
have
little
to
twinks
be
on Instagram who are posting like shirtless photos when they're 14 and trying to work out and get the ideal body because they think they have to.
I just think it's so. I just had this like weird knee where like we had been told a lie. Like we had been told.
There is that like gender is marketing. I completely agree with that. Like,
oh my god, that's such a
pink and blue. You have to.
Gender is marketing.
Yeah,
You're so fucking true.
Yeah.
But now even sexuality is marketing now.
Because they tell you the same fucking baby outfit, but
exactly.
the girl can wear it because it's a blue baby outfit. So.
And like that's my realization. That's my realization that even sexuality is marketing. As sexuality is marketing.
Sure. Well, there's so many like hammered into the gay community. Like you have to buy like poppers. Think that like even something that's even like a drug, like something like that. It's like conditioned into the community, and like that's a part of the culture. It's like, oh, you're gay, pop, like that's poppers. Like that's not a thing that you should have to do just because you're gay. Like the thing. Like what? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have all these like fucking
opinions. And there's just one or two things. There's a plethora of things for every sexuality, assignation, race, gender, all that. Even race, same deal. But that's a whole other conversation.
No, that's a whole other conversation. I honestly,
cultural identity, all that having to play off.
Yeah, like I guess it's fucking funny that like
and it's also not between culture and there is culture in the gay community, not the community. It's not a culture itself, it's a sexuality, but it's a need of community, you know what I mean? We've had to kind of band together as a group because of society's perception of us as a whole.
I understand those. Like identity exists in politics. We've talked about
for sure, yeah.
The identity is there in order to push forward the human rights. But I think we're at a different point now. Like are we not in a fucking different
at least in a city such as Toronto, maybe not in the south, maybe not in other cities, but in Toronto, a metropolitan city in the 21st century, I think we're past that. I think that's safe to say. At least for the most part. For the most part. I mean, have I called a faggot on the streets? Yeah. Will that continue to happen for the next 10 years? Probably, but does it happen every day? Not at all.
But I almost want you to just call back and say, why does it matter? Just like, who cares?
Like, okay, that's really my perspective. Either I'll cuss them out and say, okay, like, cool, you just told me what I am. Yep, that's nice. Thank you for letting me know.
Honestly,
I don't use that word next time.
Like, more and more, I'm realizing that it's just unnecessary. And
well, it's just like, everybody's perspective on it is totally prejudiced.
It's primitive, almost primitive.
It's stupid. It's prehistoric.
Like, I was thinking about making a video of like coming out as nothing, and like bitching at all of
totally, you could do that.
Bitching at all of this, like
binary society.
I mean, now I'm starting that like all this Tumblr stuff is really propaganda.
To a degree.
Oh my god, like that's like like.
Well, I mean, when you start to realize everything you post online, like I guess
has an agenda or
has an agenda planned by
trying to make. Okay. So, David Cash.
BuzzFeed and stuff, they'll have like marketing teams working on like group tests and figuring out what would work well with this community and this setting. Like that's not organic. That's not like creation of content. It's a whole different deal. You know what I mean? And this is an honest conversation, which is what you like too.
It's so funny. Like I just like why I realize these things for. I mean, I guess it's like it's a process of you and I also being smarter.
As you transition, you start realizing new things. You start coming to different things.
Oh yeah, but David, I don't think it's any really exclusively about being trans or transitioning.
No, I don't either.
I also think you yourself understand these things because of the internet. You know, you've like informed.
And my personal experience, I agree.
Exactly, you've been able to like inform yourself and to like.
And I've also been involved in the community in a lot of aspects.
And able to critique and move quickly past.
Well, that's also like it's not even just where you are; it's more who you are. I feel in that sense. Like I'm a person who never believes in the first time I see it. I'm a list to a degree.
Yeah, that's the Jew in you.
Exactly.
But and also identities exist for the also like identities exist for the butt of the
all of that. Yeah.
Like exists for humor and like the function of humor does play a role in society.
Yeah, because it's entertainment because we're all gonna die. All that bullshit.
And like entertainment is just a distraction.
A temporary
distraction of
from how life is.
That's so fucking dope. Okay, we're gonna end this.
Sounds good.
That was perfect. That was actually so fucking dope.
Yeah, that was good.